Hey, I'm live. Cool. Hello, hello. Cheers. Do. All right. Cool. Uh, cheers. Got bring your beverage, whatever you got. I've got Moosehead today. Uh, hadn't done a live in a while. Kobe did one yesterday, and I was going to do this one this past weekend. I wrote down some notes here, so I'm tried to cover. I just kind of did this like spontaneously, so I'm going to go over a few things, but as the title suggests, I'm going to do K-70 or K-90, kind of talk about it a little bit. Of course, it's not announced yet, but we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to talk about some other cameras that aren't Pentax, but it will all come back to Pentax. So don't ask why am I talking about other cameras, because it's all going to come back. You've got to try out other cameras, and it makes you like enjoy Pentax even more when you try to use other cameras. So I just wanted to give a shout out to a bunch of the other YouTubers, and if you hadn't watched their channels, you should. Like I said, Kobe, you might have watched him, and it's like worldwide. Kobe's in Canada, I'm in the U.S. and Tennessee. And we've got Eddie Summers, I think he's in Australia, and Lee Iverson, which is in UK, I believe. So I mean, it's worldwide. It's all over the place. There needs to be more YouTubers. If you're thinking about doing some YouTube videos, give me a shout out. I will give you a shout out on my videos just to get you some more views or whatnot. But it's a very strong community in Pentax, even though it is a smaller company in the camera industry. Hey Hans, how's it going, Norway? Um, all right. It's been like really not photography type weather. It's like the end of winter. I'm waiting for spring. All these colors that make that Pentax sensor just pop, because you know how wonderful it is. So let's what we're going to talk about first. Okay, I said I was going to talk about other cameras. So I was going to do and Eddie Summers did a 645 versus the K1. So CCD versus CMOS sensors. I was going to do a video about that, but I was going to use non-Pentax cameras. Like I said, it's going to all come back around to Pentax. So I bought this A390 Sony camera, which is a CCD sensor, and since I love all the older Pentax CCD sensor cameras, I was going to try this one out because this is 14 megapixels, and most of the other Pentax cameras it's lower megapixels. So I was going to try this out, and plus it's like lightweight. I mean, it's a pretty small camera. I don't have a K70 anymore, and it just reminds me of the lightweightness of the K70 and the joy of using it. It's a really good camera. I bought it, and I thought I was going to keep it, but I'm selling. I'll go over that in a minute. So I bought this, and then I bought around the same time period. I think this is 2012, 2014. Sony A5500, which was CMOS, and they came out around the same time. So I was going to compare these two sensors, and it's one of those videos I put together, and I just really didn't like it, so I just kind of scratched it. But CCD compared to CMOS sensors, I'll just go over that. The low light CCD sensors, ISO performance, and you can read this. I like to try it out myself to just like compare. The ISO performance on a CCD sensor is like once you get past like ISO 800, it turns really bad. So which I usually just shoot landscapes. I'm usually outside usually when there's a lot of light. So anyway, I was wanting to like try and because everybody says the colors are different, and I agree with that with the CCD and the CMOS sensor. But I compared the two cameras, and I didn't really. It wasn't like as much as I thought. It just, I guess, I read some stuff, and it gets in your head. That's why I like to try out different stuff. Like if you read something, but then I like to try it out personally, and see what my own thoughts are. You can't read everything and then just you know, act like it's facts. So I tried it out, and all it wanted me to do is like, where is the K-90? I want the K-90 now because this camera is so heavy. I mean, with this lens on it, but it's not too heavy. But when you put this lens on it, the K3 Mark III with the 16 to 50, uh, you know, DA Star PLM, it's a beast. Using this little Sony, it was like reminded me of the K70, just how light it was and how it was. Abigail, cheers. Yeah, and it just reminded me of the K70, and just I want this next camera to come out, because generally when you have like this flagship come out, and then you'll have the next camera, which I'm assuming is going to be the K90. It's going to have stripped down features, but you'll have the same sensor with less autofocus points. The autofocus might not be as good, but I have a feeling since it's the K90, it's going to have the flip out screen, but it will have the 4K, and it will have the touch screen. I think it's going to be a everything that I'm thinking. It's going to be a remarkable camera, and there's a lot of features I don't use. I know Kobe uses a lot of features in here that I don't use. I don't use that burst mode all that often. I don't use all these autofocus points. So obviously, this camera to me is like more than I need, but it's a fantastic camera. There's just so much packed in this camera. It's more than what I need for what I personally shoot. So, um, being just landscape and basic photography, nothing action sports like. I really don't need this camera, but I love it. So I could always get in there and find whatever I need. It's a great camera. So what else we gonna talk about? What do you think is going to be in the K90? What do you think is going to be in there? Like I said, 4K touchscreen, um, less autofocus points. They can't make it just like the K3 Mark III because it's going to be less. I hope the price range is. I'm hoping it's around $800. Um, and I will definitely be a buyer. I can't remember what the K70 was at release price. I think it was 700. So the way inflation is, 800 would be good. 850, 900, you're getting up there. So um, we will see. Um, so I'm going to talk about other cameras now, just for a second, um, and then we'll get me back to Pentax again, just like I said earlier. So uh, I was using. If I've said before, if I ever use a different system, it would be the Olympus system. So I was using the EM10 Mark III. Was it three? Yeah. And I have the lens on here. I use this for all my uh, eBay stuff. This is their lens like this, and I use it every day, but I just put it down all the time. Not very hard, but this lens broke. This is their little kit lens, and it works fantastic, but it broke, and it just reminded me of the strength of the Pentax system. But since this broke, I went back to using a Pentax camera to doing my eBay, photos or whatever. So I just went to using the K3 Mark III with the 16 to 50 on there, and man, the photos look so much better. I was like, why hadn't I been doing this? Well, I was liking the live view on the EM10, I guess, and it was lighter weight. My arm was all kind of jacked up, but it's back to normal now. So I mean, I'm just digging this, and it's I've got these lights. They're not very powerful, but they were this. I mean, just this combo is like it takes so much better pictures than that. Let's see here. Yeah, I keep the flippy screen, man. That's what I'm missing. And like this, I just miss a flippy screen. I used to shoot all my videos, all my YouTube videos, with the Pentax K-70 because it was like it just had the flippy screen and it was great. And everybody says their video sucks, but it was decent enough for YouTube and whatnot. So I if you've got just a flippy screen that goes up and down, I don't know. That means it doesn't help you if you're like doing vlogging type stuff. I mean, it's great if you're doing the landscape stuff, but if you're using it for video, it doesn't really help you too much. So that's where I hope the K-90 is kind of like more video-esque, just got like the K-70. I just think that would be great. From Canada, TL, what's up? So that's where I am. I'm like wondering if that K-90 comes out and it's like I said, I don't use like all the features like I should in here. If the K-90 comes out, I might end up selling this, believe it or not, just because I like a lighter weight camera, and this lens is heavy, but it's like so awesome. If you don't have this lens and you've got the money, I would definitely recommend it. The 16 to 50. I would keep this lens, but that 20 to 40, I think I'd buy it again. I'd love that combo. That if you're looking for something slightly on a budget, K-70 with the 20 to 40 limited is just like an outstanding combo. I've taken so many awesome pictures with that combo right there. I mean, it's just lightweight, and just the performance on the 20 to 40 is, and all the pictures, the contrast, the colors, just straight out of camera, they just rock. I mean, it's like an incredible combo. I mean, if you like the KP, same thing, but I just preferred the K-70 more myself, with the more flippy out screen and all that stuff. So, also, I mean, if they put 4K in that K-90, I haven't done the latest update on the K3 Mark III, but they need to like fix that. It overheated when I tried it. I just hadn't used it after I tested it. It overheated, and then it didn't like it stopped recording after a while. To separate the like most modern stuff, like my Osmo, which I use on most of my like walk and talk type YouTube videos. It will stop, but it will pick up a next file, so you can do all those together. So, I mean, this does 4K, 1080, 60, and then even does some slow-mo stuff, which I hadn't gotten into yet. But this, if you're looking for like something that's cheaper than the GoPro, but is just as good, if not better for the price, get the Osmo action camera right here. I would totally recommend that. Yeah, Miguel. That 20 to 40. I mean, I sold it, but it's because I got this, because this lens is better optically. of course, it is better optically. I mean, it's just it just weighs more, and but it's more comfortable to use that 20 to 40. But I mean, 20 to 40, I mean, it's just like it's amazing. But this one has a little bit, even though I said the other one has like the 2040 has like excellent colors, this one has just a little bit more pop to those colors. If you want to compare these two, that's what I would say. But obviously, you get a lot of times with the 20 to 40, I kind of struggled. I wanted it a little bit wider or a little bit longer so that you get that with this um, 16 to 50. So that's why I let that one go. So I have the old 16 to 50 is the newer one, much better. Yes, and I would recommend. Oh my God, Albert Siegel. Go check out his video after this, and he does a complete comparison on this. I think he's American living in Japan, I believe, and he does some awesome shots and compares them completely. If you're into portrait photography, he has them like side by side and does an excellent job. I don't know why he doesn't have any more views than he does, but yeah, definitely check out some of these other Pentaxian making YouTube videos. I wish there was more. Like I said earlier, if you want to do some, go ahead and I will just send me a message or whatever. I think I've links below, and I will tell everybody to check out your channel. Yeah, I think that yeah, Stephen, the case K-90 when it comes out, I think it's going to be. I think since nobody else is making SLR cameras now, so I think it's just going to be. It's the price is going to be cheaper because everybody's complaining about this being $2,000. But yeah, remember, just yeah, what was it last week? The OM1 just got announced for $2,200 with micro four thirds sensor, mirrorless, of course, but I mean the sensor's smaller, so that's kind of funny. uh, Everybody used to talk about the sensor. That's why the camera prices were the size of the sensor. That's what makes the camera prices so high. And that's funny because I was just talking about this. I'll go back this just for a second. This A390 Sony camera with a CCD sensor, um, and then you had the A550 that came out around the same time. It's like, oh, you said the sensor on the CCD sensor costs a lot more to make, and it's like, wait, well, then why is this CMOS camera uh, the same price? Snappiness, hello. Oh, that's somebody I forgot. I said James, didn't I earlier? No. Okay. Well, check out Snappy's channel if you have not. Great channel. Uh, you get more views than me, man. What's up? uh, he has some great old school like cameras and whatnot that are really good. Since you are on here, I've bought a lot of point and shoots lately that I'm selling. Just these are all old ones because I do the eBay quite a bit. Um, I have never bought I've only tried out a few Pentax point and shoots, not the GR series or whatever, but of the more consumer type stuff. Um, and I hadn't found one that I liked. They have the ones that are like the rugged series. I've tried one of those and I didn't care for it. But if there is I bought one, just consumer based one. I think it was 12 megapixels, and I tried it out. I was like, man, I don't really want to do a video on this because it's going to be horrible. Because it wasn't good. The Canon product was a lot better, and I tried some Olympus point and shoots that I really enjoyed as well. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that they didn't keep going down that road. So. All right. Snappy has picked up the 16 to 50. Yeah, and yeah, it does. I remember when I had it because I had the 16 to 50, the old one, before I had the 20 to 40, and yeah, I thought it was a little soft, wide open at f16, and then I bought the 20 to 40, and I was like, it was lighter, and everything was kind of just there with it. So yeah, 20 to 40. If anybody's looking for a lens, I think it's around $500 new. You might be able to find it for around 350 or three, somewhere around there used. 20 to 40 is definitely a lens I would definitely recommend. And I at first I was kind of more of a prime shooter, and I had seen some great shots with it, and I was like, okay. And I think when I originally bought it, it was like I think it was kind of new. It was like 800 bucks, and I was like, man, I don't want to spend 800 bucks on a zoom lens. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm just gonna do it. And I think that was might have been it too. You know, you go into it like watching a movie that doesn't have good reviews, and then, and then you like because internally I was saying, okay, this is Zoom, it's not going to be good. And then I used it, and I was like, wow, man, this thing is great. Everything is just like there. So and the funny thing about the 24, you know, it's not consistent aperture. It's f2.8 to f4. So um, when I used it in f4 and just set it there and just go with it. If you haven't watched my channel before, I usually do AV mode, so I just kind of set it there, so I knew it would be at f4, and it is sharp throughout, even wide open each end, everything 20 to 40. So it's great. Okay, the it's struggling in the corner now. See, I don't. The you said the 16 to 50 kind of struggled in the corners. I don't pixel peep too much, but actually, a lot of times with my landscapes, I actually add a little bit of vignetting. I know people are like no about vignetting, but I actually like that look. I think it kind of draws your eye into the picture. So I've always liked vignetting, especially on some of these, the prime lenses that are, open at f1.8, and the people are complaining about the vignetting on the side. So I'm like, I kind of like that. I mean, I might add that anyway. So. Uh, Sorry, I'm having to look over my camera here. Yeah, Pentax point and shoots. Yeah, there was one at the end that they had I think it was the last one they used or made. It was at Target, and it looked like it was a bridge camera. It looked like you could take the lens off. So I'm there in Target trying to take the lens off. I think this was probably 2012 or something like that. I can't remember. I think I've seen it on eBay for like 150, 125, but I think it was 16 megapixel. So if I find that, I might try that out. I can't even remember the model number of it. Uh, looking getting the FA 10 or 70 to 210. Use my K1 Mark II. Have not been happy with my Tamron or Sigma. Hope will be a good upgrade. A lot of people have a lot of people said that lens, the 70 210 f4, is good, and I've heard other people say it's bad. I hadn't tried it out, um, but the 70 to 210. I'm going to talk about this for a second. I know this is Pentax, but I was going to say the Sony. They make a 70 to 210 f4. It's called a beer can lens. Man, that thing is incredible. F4 throughout. If you have a second system that's the Sony FA, I tried that out on this A390, and it was fantastic. Uh, So I definitely think you should try that out if you have that camera system. That was just a side note. Uh, let's see what else. What we got on here? Oh, so I'm going on vacation, and I keep on saying this in the lives. I need to get insurance on all my camera stuff. I got the K1 and the K3 Mark III, and then these few expensive lenses. So I am going to do that and let you know how it all goes through. My insurance is State Farm. I contacted them about this before, and they said it's low cost, and if it's lost or if it's stolen or broken, so if I drop it, it's all covered and it's low cost. So I'm gonna have to do that. Um, what else we do here? That's it. Just a quick mention. I have, believe it or not, I have over 600 videos. I just looked the other day on YouTube. And not all of them are Pentax, but there's a ton of other stuff in there. And if you're new to my channel and you like my Pentax stuff, you can just go to my channel and then just click on playlists, and there's a Pentax playlist in there, and we'll have several hundred videos. And if there's something that you want me to cover that I have not, I'll be happy to do that. Somebody reached out to me about doing a video about just, they had an idea for me to cover like a camera like the K3 Mark III and just go through completely everything on it, the menu system, and just like, it'd be like an hour video. And um, that's what I'm saying. You have to search out these videos because there's already videos like that. Kobe does one that he goes down through the video and goes down through the menu system and like covers it thoroughly. And then the K70, if you haven't watched this Pentax channel, Pentax Tips goes through the K70 like all the way through, like from a beginner level all the way up, and covers everything. They do a really good job, and I actually go to their channel quite a bit if I forget something or I'm looking for something, and I'm like, why can't I find that? They usually have it in there. So check out their channel as well. I don't know them at all, but uh, sorry, I'm trying to read these. Yeah, that vignetting is it does. Vignetting like draws your eye in, especially if you have a lot of contrast in your shot, and you've got this black kind of vignetting, and it kind of just pulls you in. It's like a leading line, like in a photo. I've always found. So I don't understand why people don't like vignetting, but that's just me. If you don't like it, that's fine. I don't like the white vignetting on the side. It's like 1980s. We could bring back the what is it? What's it called? Where you turn everything black and white, and then you like brighten up. I did this, and I think that's still my Facebook profile picture, where I have an A's hat, and it has the A's that are in color, and everything else is in black and white. I can't remember what that's called, but that was kind of the '90s look. And my dad, I did some photos for him. He was divorced, and I did some photos like that for him, and he was really pleased with them. And he credits that for finding his girlfriend at the time. I think, yeah, they're married now. So pretty funny though how the styles change in photography. It used to be HDR was like the thing, and it was like super gross HDR, like full of just color, like throw up color. And not too many people do that type of stuff anymore. Uh, but anyway, let's see here. James, man, you need to do a live yourself. I think you'd do really well at that. Um, What do you think would be a good lens for star trails on the K70? And that's or the K1, sorry. I mean something wide open. I mean something wide. I broken on 14 millimeter f2.8, and that's a cheap lens. You could get it used for around 250 or maybe a little bit less. All right, snappiness. Thanks for being on here. And that's what I miss. The K70 had that star trails where you could like do a video with the star trails, and these other cameras don't. Does the K? I don't remember the K1 having it, but the K70 had like some unique like kind of features in it like that, just little digital features that you might not use, but they're kind of hand or like kind of cool to just mess around with. So I kind of missed that about the K70. Color Pop or Color Pop. I think I'm pronouncing that right. David Storm. Hey, how's it going? All right, we've been on like 30 minutes. Let's see what else I got on here. Any more questions? My throat's getting a little dry. Cheers, everybody. Somebody said they were from Canada. New said. I'll start up the grill here in a second. Got chicken wings. I've got kielbasa. I've got some chicken. Got all sorts of good stuff. It's nice here. It's East Tennessee. It's I think got up to 65 today, so I'm really looking forward to spring. There's been no color, and I love my color that comes out of the Pentax sensors. Are always great. Let's see here. Yeah, I hadn't done the latest update on the K3 Mark III, so I'm wondering if it gets rid of some of that 4K stuff. Like I said, like the overheating or the because I've always been like since they didn't have it for years, they didn't have the touchscreen or the 4K, and they were like probably 4 years behind on that. I mean, I think the Panasonic now has a 8K or whatever, and yeah, nobody's buying the Pentax for that stuff, but it should be in there if it's like 4 years old. So I was happy that they put it in here, and hopefully it will be better on the K90. So what does everybody want in the K90? Is there something I missed? I want that flip out screen. I'm missing that. I'm so much. That's the thing that this camera, I like this camera, but that's what K3 Mark III is missing, that flip out screen. That and be lighter weight and just be what the K70 is, but just bumped up with this little bit better sensor and all that. Duck fan, what is the K90? So they Pentax, if you don't know, they have like it's called consumer cameras, lower grade cameras. So they're cheaper price. So they have the K30, the K50, the K. So they go in odd numbers: K30, K50, K70 was their last one, which was probably introduced probably four plus years ago. So what they'll do is they'll have a flagship camera like the K3 Mark III, and then they'll do the lesser consumer based type of models, which will be the K90. And in the Pentax world, their consumer based cameras were always more like a prosumer base in the other worlds, the Canon and the Nikons, and they were cheaper price, and they had more specs in them, just a lot better stuff. And a lot of times the ISO performance, the dynamic range would be better than those other competitors. Just Pentax, for whatever reason, they have a very good fan base, but not very good marketing. So all that stuff wasn't pushed out to the public, and they don't have cameras like, say, in like your Best Buy and your electronic stores or the camera stores. So that's what it is. Anyway, long story short, but I think most of these people on here are familiar with that. Okay, this side uh, towards screen. Okay, so yeah, a lot of people like the KP. When they purchased it, I did. I didn't. I got the K70, and then the KP came out. The reason I didn't buy a KP because it was expensive. I think it was $1,100, and I think the K70 when it came out. I think it was like 2 years, year and a half after the K70 out, the KP came out, and it was $1,100 versus the K70 was like uh, I think $600 at the time. So it was almost double the price. And there wasn't anything in the KP that made me think that I should buy it. And I finally bought one at the end. I've got some videos if you want to watch them. Um, KP takes some awesome pictures. Just it has the flippy screen like this instead, not the up and down thing instead of the whatever. And they made it smaller. Um, but it felt a little bit more solid, but it just wasn't. I didn't care for it. The ergonomics were horrible, absolutely horrible on that camera. They put 3 grips in there and they're all horrible. So, yeah, and a lot of people will say the KP has the images are like so much better than the KP, and that is completely false. I mean, they're like super close. I actually I think I did a video and tested out the ISO performance, and yeah, the KP is a little bit better when you get up there in those high ISOs, but it's like the ISOs that nobody would use really anyway. So that's just my thought. I think the K70 is just um, a better camera just because it feels better in your hand, and it has the flip out screen. Image quality is going to be really close. I know a lot of people will buy like the KP. A lot of people do this. I spent this much money on a camera and I'm going to defend it to death or whatever. But you see, I have all these cameras out in front of me. Uh, Olympus camera. I have a Sony camera. I've got the Pentax camera. I've got Canon and Nikon cameras over there. So I've tried them all, but just the Pentax system itself is it's just not completely perfect, but it's better than all the other systems to me. And I think that's with a lot of people watching. Um, I think they feel the same way. That's why they probably have bought several Pentax cameras and love the system uh, as well. So, yeah, Dave Storm, yeah, the KP does have better. I should have said that does have better autofocus and more points than the K70. But for me, that I don't use a lot of autofocus points, so um, it's just all what you want in a camera. So that's what kind of brought me back to the K70. I did try out that KP for several months, and actually I wish they would do this when they discontinued cameras years ago. Oh, I didn't talk about that. When they discontinued Pentax cameras years ago, you could get them like dirt cheap. Think about the K50 for like $300 with the kit lens, and then I also bought the KS2 for like $300, and it came with a kit lens and a flash. Um, and the KP, it wasn't. I think I bought it for $600, and then it was like sold out, and I'd used it for 2 or 3 months and didn't have very many shutter counts on it. And I think I sold it for what I bought it for. So yeah, I wish they would have those lower priced discounts. I haven't found those on any cameras, basically. So, but that brings me back to what I was going to say. So I've used almost every Pentax digital camera. I think the only one I hadn't used, I said I used the KS2. I just purchased a KS1 that's coming in the mail, so I'm looking forward to using that. If you watch Chris and Jordan from, it used to be the Camera Store, now I think it's DP Review. They whatever year that came out, I think it was probably 2016, 15, somewhere in there. They said the KS1 was the worst camera to be released in that year. So this should be interesting for me to try it out. It kind of looks cool. So I didn't. I got pretty cheap, so I'm just gonna try it out, do a review on it, and test it out and see what it is, and end up selling it. I think the low amount I got into it, I'll just end up getting my money back, is better than like renting it or whatever. So I could try it out for a couple of months, and if I'm happy with it, I could keep it or I could sell it. But oh, back to this, talking about selling. So I said earlier that I was using did I say all this? The EM10 Mark III for doing my eBay stuff, but I'm going to end up selling this just because I went back to using the K3 Mark III with this superior lens, of course, the 16-50, and just the image quality is so much better. Even if you're doing these little small thumbnail type deals for eBay, and since my arm is better, I'm just going to end up using it and waiting for that K-90. I think that's about it. Any last questions before I get out of here? I need to start up the grill. I'm getting hungry. I want some chicken wings. Do I own a Q? I've owned a couple of Qs. They're great, fun cameras. I've had several. There's plenty of reviews on my channel of different lenses and whatnot. It is a fun little system. I suggest if you buy one of those, look at my Pentax Q tricked out video, and just show some quick like little accessories you could get very cheap that will make that camera even more fun to use. Since it doesn't have a OVF, there's a little flip out thing that covers up the back LCD screen that is really cool, and I suggest that. Let's see, Duck Fan. Any idea if they will bring out a new full frame sometime soon? I think they would bring out the K-90 first. That's just my opinion. I have no knowledge of what Pentax is doing. They don't they don't contact me or any other Pentax users that I know. I've reached out to them a couple of times about different things, and they either didn't get back to me or just, I don't know. Yeah, so I think that the K-90 is the next one. I don't know. Maybe it will be a full frame. Who knows? K3 or K1 Mark III. Maybe I'll do that in my next Pentax talk, and we'll talk about what should be in that camera. Do I take pictures for other people? You mean like as a job? No, I'm just like more of a extreme hobbyist. I take pictures every day. If I go on a walk, I've got my camera with me. I'm taking pictures. It's the greatest hobby in the world to me. I didn't expect for that to happen, but it just kind of, I started originally got a video camera, Canon T2i. I think I've told this story before. T2i, because it had a video camera aspect in it, 1080p or 10, yeah. When my daughter was born in 2009, I was mostly a video guy. I have a video degree, and so I bought it for the video, and I was like, I'm going to use it 90% for video and then maybe 10% for stills, just because it had both in the same camera. You have to buy two separate systems before that, and lo and behold, I did some video with it, and then I ended just doing some stills of my daughter, and then later I just doing some nature stuff, and then just it just exploded after that. And I was learning something every day, just watching YouTube videos like you are. Um, you can learn so much on just watching YouTube videos. A lot of it is like spot on, and then some of it's, but I could recommend some people to you. But Adorama has a bunch of stuff. Gavin Hoey is great. Ben Long, I think he's on, what's that called? Well, just Google Ben Long if you're like new to photography. He is great. Mark Wallace is great. He's on Adorama as well. Um, Brian Peterson is excellent. Super old videos, but they're really great. Check out all those people, and they just make fantastic videos that and will just make your photography experience, like as you go through it and get better and better, just make it that much more appealing to you. Yeah, I mean, I did try some like wedding photography and stuff like that, and just it just wasn't for me. So I ended up selling stuff like that. I don't know if you can see all that instead, just getting into equipment and selling stuff, reselling it, and I really know all the mounts, all the cameras. I've spent a lot of time, and I've got a lot of knowledge into all the other systems as well. So I don't know, Stephen R. What hot sauce for those wings? I don't know. Should I go cayenne based or habanero based? I don't know. My daughter might eat some, so well, I usually save a couple out for her, and I put like teriyaki on there instead. So, um, I should take a picture of my fridge. I think I have 20 different hot sauces in there. If you've ever watched Hot Ones, they have the hot sauce eating competition, or like they eat hot sauce and interview. It's like really good show. I like that. But yeah, I love my hot sauce. I've actually said I have 600 videos, and there are some about food. I love cooking. I worked for the Food Network, HCTV. I said I'm in the video. That was my degree. Was I wasn't like cooking or anything. I was just kind of watching their videos. Um, Quality control is what's called. So make sure there wasn't any glitches. But um, yeah, actually, I entered a chili cook-off a couple weeks ago, and there was 6 awards out of 28 chilies. I won 4 of those, so I won $350 because I make chili all the time. I love my chili. Anyway, enough about that. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll be doing another one of these soon. If there's anything you want me to talk about, I'll probably be talking about the K1 Mark III in the next one. It might be a few weeks, but I appreciate everybody's support, and check out all those other channels that I mentioned. Great content from them as well. And thank you. Cheers.